4 quarters of Notre Dame football.
He's met by Alohi Gilman with a nasty hit. Chase Claypool reaches across the goal line. Touchdown Irish. Still moving. Chris Fink inside the 20-yard line. Down he goes.
No matter what happens, we stay together.
And intercepted by Jalen Elliott.
Look, a great fake. Touchdown Notre Dame.
We welcome you to Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com, along with former Irish linebacker Corey Mays. I'm Darren Pritchett. A successful day for the Fighting Irish as they take down number 18 Virginia 35-20 at Notre Dame Stadium. Corey, the Irish defensive line, very impactful today. Why was it so difficult on the Virginia offense?
I expected this type of dominant performance from the opening snap. It took a little while to get settled in. I think the linebackers and defensive backs were looking more for Bryce Perkins to run instead of looking at the wide receivers running by them. But once they settled in, the D-line was able to get the pass rush and be effective, create turnovers, and score.
As the game went on, boy, the defense really took over. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. Number 18 Virginia at number 10 Notre Dame. The Irish have won 12 straight home games, the third longest win streak in stadium history. Their 20th consecutive week ranked in the top 10. For Virginia, the Cavaliers have never won a road game versus a top 10 team, but they get off to a really good start. Bryce Perkins hits Joe Reed 43 yards to the Notre Dame 5-yard line. Perkins goes back to throw. He steps up, rolls to his left, and dumps it into the end zone for Reed. Touchdown, Virginia. They led 7-0.
You simply cannot come up on these plays. You have to cover your man. See, the defense is looking at Bryce Perkins. You have to be disciplined.
Notre Dame on 3rd down and 7. Ian Book delivers the ball to Michael Young, playing at his first game of the year after suffering a broken collarbone. He picks up 7 yards. Now it's Book for Chris Fink. He makes the catch to the Virginia 15-yard line. It's a gain of 28. And then Book hands it off to Tony Jones Jr. 5-yard touchdown, and Notre Dame ties the game at 7.
This is a tough run here by Tony Jones. This Notre Dame running game has been playing hide and seek all year. It's time for them to step up. Someone has to say, I'm it. I want to be here.
2nd down and 6 for Virginia. Here comes Julian Okwara with the sack and the forced fumble. Okwara recovers the fumble, and Notre Dame turns over Virginia.
Oh, once again, just flying to the ball, creating turnovers on defense. This is something that will spark this Notre Dame offense.
Ian Book fakes the pitch and now dumps it off right side to running back Sevo Flemister. He picks up 13 yards down to the 11. Then the handoff to Flemister off the right side. He breaks a tackle and he runs over a Virginia defender into the end zone for the touchdown.
Oh, man, I love this kid, Sevo. Let's give him some more carries. Running hard, running tough. This has to be the identity of this Irish football team.
Irish led 14-7, 13 plays, 75-yard drive. Virginia picked up a field goal in the second quarter. Notre Dame up 14-10. Jonathan Dorr could not match that field goal. He misses from 47 yards. But the Irish defense back on the field. Kurt Heinisch and Khalid Kareem bring down Perkins for a loss of 8 yards, the third sack of the first half. But Perkins responds. He lobs the ball for Hassis Dubois, 16 yards for a Virginia touchdown, and they led at halftime 17-14. As we take a look at the first half stats, 235 passing yards for the Cavaliers. And Corey, what challenges did Notre Dame have when they had to deal with quarterback Bryce Perkins?
I think, again, they were caught looking in the backfield. They have to be disciplined. Virginia didn't run anything exotic as far as passing routes. It's like regular 7-on-7. So I think this week they'll get back to the basics, trust themselves, trust the defense, and just have fun and fly around. And once they did that, they settled in. There was a lot of success.
Irish down 3 at halftime, but in the second half, the defense took over. We'll show you the highlights next on Inside Notre Dame Football.
Inside Notre Dame Football is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Coca-Cola, Under Armour, Gatorade, Vivid Seats, Canon, and SiriusXM.
Welcome back to Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. He's Corey Mays. I'm Darren Pritchett. Well, in the first half, Virginia built a 17-14 lead over Notre Dame, but a lot of twists and turns in the second half. Let's show you the highlights from Notre Dame Stadium. What a unique start to the second half as Virginia goes for the onside pooch kickoff. And it's successful. Brian Delaney boots it, and Bryce Hall recovers it at midfield, and the Cavaliers take over. But here comes the Irish pass rushers. It is a core bringing down Perkins for a loss of 7. So Virginia forced to punt, and their special teams does the job again, as this punt will be down at the 1-yard line. So the Irish backed up. Ian Book leaves the pocket a little early, runs forward. He's brought down at the 6-yard line, and Notre Dame punts it right back to Virginia. Perkins then is hit by Jameer Jones. The ball comes free, and it's Myron Tungabailola Amosa. It's big boy football. 48 yards to the Virginia 7-yard line.
Rumble, young man, rumble. Again, having the pass coverage be in place. Look at this. This is every young kid's dream, big lineman, to get that ball. Get him an extra cupcake for pregame meal. You ran out of fuel there.
Here's Tony Jones Jr. up the middle for a 2-yard touchdown, and Notre Dame takes the lead 21-17.
This is too easy here. This is what it makes you wonder why this Notre Dame offense just does not move this ball consistently running all during the first half.
More pressure. Khalid Kareem brings down Perkins for a loss of 4. Perkins in the pocket. No help from his right tackle as Julian Okora knocks the ball free, and it's Ade Ogundeji for the touchdown from 24 yards out.
Oh, defense. My Irish eyes are smiling as I watch this today. This is something very special for this defense as they take this momentum into next week. If offense can't get it done, they say, hey, we'll score for you.
Here is a ball thrown up for grabs, and in this moment, Alohi means goodbye, Virginia. Alohi Gilman with the interception of Perkins. And that pretty much sealed the ball game.
Yes, pressure again from this D-line. This is just a beautiful situation in which you can work in tandem.
It's time for Tony Jones Jr. to take over in the fourth quarter. How about 28 yards to the Virginia 40? Jones gets it again off the left side. Look at the blocking by the offensive line. And Jones off to the races. 30 yards for the Notre Dame touchdown. And the Irish led 35-17.
This has to be the new identity of this offensive line. If you're going to line up 2 tight ends, 12 personnel, and just run the ball, man on man.
21 unanswered points for the Irish. Perkins, good pocket. He delivers down the middle, and look who. The freshman, Kyle Hamilton, his second interception of the season, both at Notre Dame Stadium. And the freshman does the job for the Irish dime defense.
This kid is everywhere. He is such a special talent. His football IQ is off the charts. I can't wait to see this kid as the years roll by.
Final score, Notre Dame 35 and Virginia 20. Well, the Cavaliers quarterback Perkins on the season led them in rushing, but he was held in check, and look at the total rushing yards for Virginia, 4 yards in the contest.
Well, I'm most happy about the 178 rushing yards for Notre Dame and getting that running game started.
Well, Corey, in this ball game, 5 turnovers created by the defense. They had 5 quarterback hurries, 8 sacks. It's their most sacks in a game since Hawaii in 2008. That's how you impact a football game.
That is exactly how you impact a football game. Sometimes when the offense is getting sluggish, you create plays, you create momentum, you create excitement for your football team. And this is what this defense does. There's so much momentum for them moving forward. You know you can rush the passer, you're going to have a great day.
This was the only top 20 matchup this weekend, and it was number 10 Notre Dame downing number 18 Virginia 35-20. Stick around, more Inside Notre Dame Football still to come. Let's hear from Notre Dame head football coach Brian Kelly, who is breaking down today's game with Jack Nolan.
We are here in Coach Kelly's office off the locker room at Notre Dame Stadium after Notre Dame's dominating win over Virginia. All week long, beginning with the locker room at Georgia, you told your team that this game would be the defining game for this team this year. To me, that meant you had faith in them, but you also put pressure on them, and they responded.
They did. I mean, to do that after playing Georgia and playing them tough, to come back and play the 18th ranked team in the country, that's pretty bold to do that to these guys. But I was confident that this group would respond. They need to be pushed, and when they're pushed, they respond. They were down at halftime. They were determined. They're a stubborn group, and when they're pushed, they respond, and they responded quite well in the second half.
13 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, 5 turnovers, 4 turned in to touchdowns. Can a defense play much better than that?
Well, those numbers sound really good, and when you're playing at that level, good things are going to happen, and they certainly did in the second half, and it certainly turned the game around. And I know this, that our offense needed something to get us going, and our defense certainly did that in the second half.
You gave 2 game balls to your defensive line captains, Khalid Kareem, Julian Okwara. But the great thing was, it wasn't just them. A lot of young guys were called upon and delivered.
You know, Ade, Myron, Jameer Jones, Kurt Heinisch had a big sack. You know, the Adiomolas both. I mean, look, I could go down the list. You know, we played 11 defensive players on the line, and they all contributed. Dalen went down with a shoulder, so, you know, we had to really go deep, and they all responded with really big games.
Tony Jones is a good collegiate back, but he's out there so much because you're so young behind him. He doesn't make many mistakes. He picks up the blitzer. Yeah. He blocks. You've got to be happy with the way he broke out today. 18 carries, 131 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, what we were able to do is get him a breather. You know, we were able to get Jameer Smith in there a little bit, and Sibo Fleminster came in and gave us a bit of a change-up as well. And I think getting them in the game got Tony a breather. So later in the game, when Virginia was down a little bit in terms of, you know, tired, Tony was able to run through some tackles, and that was big for us.
Everything that you would like to accomplish is still possible.
No doubt, no doubt. And, you know, a 15-point win against the 18th ranked team in the country, coming off of, you know, the kind of game we had against Georgia, I think sends a pretty strong message that this is a really, really good football team. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. We got to play to our standard next week against Bowling Green, and then, you know, go from there. But good win, good solid win, and we got some things to work on.
Part of the reason why you're a captain is when your team needs you the most, you need to step up. And these guys stepped up huge for us today. They dominated, took over. I don't know, 52 sacks today. Your 2 captains came up and made the difference today. These 2 guys, they're going to share the game ball today.
Hey, I told him to stop playing with me, bro. You get the ball in my hands, all I need is a crease. That's it.
Taking the first, it's a gift to Fleminster. Ducks inside the block. He's going to the end zone.
Hey, I'm little, but I play big. I'm little, but I play big.
Feels great. I mean, put in all the work, fall camp, practice. Now it's time to, you know, just go show everybody what we all can do.
We have to battle every freaking snap.
You're faster and more physical and more experienced, and if you stay patient and persistent, as we have been, you'll win the day if you don't get frustrated.
Here we go, man. And then got half fun. Play our game.
Let's go! Come on! Good job, Troy! Good job! Get in there, Tom. Get it.
Jones inside, scores 3, and Jones is in for a Notre Dame touchdown.
Hold that down. Get that down.
You know, you should be good. Snap it off quick.
Here we go. Here we go.
We're going to get stubborn and determined, and we're going to fight every single play. That's what we do here. So let's go play. Let's go win the second half. Let's go win a football game. Let's go.
Let's take a look at the Vivid Seats Play of the Week.
It's pressured. Got him again. Aquara knocked it out. It is picked up and scooped by Ali Ogundeji. Touchdown.
It's time for this week's TireRack.com question of the week. This week's question comes from Kevin Lanigan from Chicago, Illinois. Coach, what is your life philosophy and how have you worked to instill it in the young men you've coached over the past 30 years?
Well, I think more than anything else, it's just about developing our men to be the best version of themselves and represent Notre Dame or wherever I've been as good husbands, good fathers, good citizens. And it's much more than just playing football. It's getting their degree, playing for championships, but being good citizens when they leave here.
The Fighting Irish beat Virginia at Notre Dame Stadium 35-20. Fighting Irish now a 3-1 football team and a matchup with Bowling Green next Saturday at Notre Dame Stadium. I'm Darren Pritchett along with former Irish linebacker Corey Mays. Let's take a look at the remaining Fighting Irish schedule. And there is Bowling Green at the top. They're a 1-3 football team. A bye this week. The Falcons, their last game, they lost at Kent State 62-20. They've also lost to Kansas State in Manhattan 52-0. Their only win over Morgan State 46-3. So this is a game, as a player, I would assume you have to stay focused. You got to forget Bowling Green's 1-3 and do your job this week.
2 words, trap game. Do not look ahead to USC. Do not look at what Bowling Green has done in the past. You make sure that you are preparing this week as a champion.
The USC Trojans have dealt with a lot of injuries so far this year. They're down to their 3rd string quarterback. Now, their number 2 quarterback could come back at some point, but USC lost today at Washington 28-14, so the Trojans are now 3-2 on the season. When you think about USC, what comes to mind?
Well, I know they're going to be prepared. They have a lot of athletes. They're very athletic. So, you have to be ready to play. You got to prepare. I mean, they're down to their 3rd string quarterback. They've been resilient this year. So it makes for a great story for them, but you want to make sure the story is not them coming here to be a winner.
And finally, Michigan, of course, is a little down the road in Ann Arbor. A shaky start for the Wolverines so far this year. They beat Rutgers today in convincing fashion, but I don't think we learned anything about the Wolverines. They have been turning the football over at a high rate entering that game against Rutgers, and they lost a really good group of defenders from last year's team. So I was kind of surprised they were ranked in the top 10 at the start of the year. When you have to replace a lot of impact guys, it's dangerous to rank a team that high, whether Harbaugh's the coach or not.
I think it's the Harbaugh effect.
Yeah.
But, it's 3 weeks from now, more than 3 weeks from now, so it's the 3rd game that Notre Dame's playing. So they have to prepare again to go to that house and dominate.
For Corey Mays, I'm Darren Pritchett. Thanks for joining us on Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com.
Inside Notre Dame Football is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Coca-Cola, Under Armour, Gatorade, Vivid Seats, Canon, and SiriusXM.